Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of MJ Everyday, a supplementation based episode for you guys today, talking about the difference between clinical dosing and synergism between ingredients. Now, the inspiration for this episode has come from a few experiences that I've had this week and a few conversations that I've had this week at MJHQ with some members of Team MassiveJoes here. And we've been training on some new products, some new pre-workouts, some new pump ingredients. We tried some new nootropics. We're always, as you guys can imagine, we're always trying new supplements here at MassiveJoes. But we've had a period, a concentrated period where we've been trying some of these new supplements. And on paper, they've kind of been, you can see the ingredients are there, but they're not, properly dosed. They're not clinically dosed, efficaciously dosed, but there's a lot of them. And we've used these supplements and we've come back with some of these supplements and we've gone, shit, that pre-workout was phenomenal. That was just an incredible pre-workout. Even though on paper, it didn't look like it was going to be an incredible pre-workout because the ingredients aren't clinically dosed, but there's some synergism happening between these ingredients that everything just comes together and it just works. And I wanted to shoot this episode because I think this is something that as the industry has kind of progressed, people have kind of forgotten a little bit about. So let me back up a little bit and go back to probably 5 years ago, back in the supplement industry where nobody was clinically dosing anything. Companies were using proprietary blends. They weren't telling you the amounts of each ingredient they were using in the supplements. They had to tell you the ingredients, but not the amounts of each. And because of that, because these companies could hide behind these proprietary blends, a lot of them were cutting corners and not using proper dosages of active ingredients, not using 3.2 grams of beta-alanine, not using 4 to 6 grams of citrulline, not using 150 milligrams of LABTP, just not using clinical doses. Then what we had this kind of shift in the industry where some companies who kind of led the way, one of them was Core Nutritionals, another one was MTS, where they kind of led the way and they said, you know what, we are going to provide full disclosure on our panels, and we're going to properly dose ingredients based on the science, based on the studies, based on what clinical or efficacious dosing is. So we started to see a lot of companies now use full clinical doses of every single ingredient that is in a particular supplement. And I've got a few examples here. MTS Clash Fully Loaded is a great one. Every single ingredient is clinically dosed. Core Pump is another good one for a nitric oxide booster. Every single ingredient is clinically dosed. And there's a lot of companies now that do that. If you look through their panels or you guys watch raw reviews and I go through them, a lot of companies clinically dose every single ingredient, which is fantastic because your effects are going to reflect the science behind those ingredients. But there is another side to the story that I think has kind of become a little bit lost in the industry. And that is that it's not always a case of picking ingredients that are going to achieve a certain effect. So picking ingredients that are going to boost nitric oxide, getting every single one that you can and clinically dosing every single one based on the science or based on the studies. It's sometimes a case of picking a mixture of ingredients that work well together, that work synergistically together, not necessarily in full clinical doses, because if you're stacking citrulline with agmatine sulfate, you don't need a full 6 grams of citrulline and a full gram of agmatine because the two work together. So you can probably get away with a little bit less citrulline or a little bit less agmatine because the effects of the two ingredients are compounding on each other. They work synergistically together. You don't need a full dose of beta-alanine and a full dose of creatine orthophosphate to promote muscular endurance. They work well together. So you can get away with maybe half of a clinical dose of beta-alanine and a full dose of creatine orthophosphate, or vice versa, half a dose and a full clinical dose of beta-alanine, because they work together, they compound each other. And there's examples of this across almost every effect that a supplement is trying to achieve, whether it's a hormonal effect, muscular endurance effect, pump effect, stimulation effect, nootropic effect is a big one. Often with nootropics, it's a bit of a bell-shaped curve. If you pick every nootropic you possibly can, clinically dose them, put them all together, it's almost going to have a negative effect. You need to be very specific about which ingredients and the synergism between the ingredients and the way that they interact with each other and the way that the dosages interact with each other as well. So whenever you guys are looking at a supplement, don't just rule a supplement off straight away because it doesn't have a full dose of beta-alanine, or it doesn't have a full dose of cognizin acetylcholine, or it doesn't have enough caffeine, or it doesn't have a full dose of agmatine sulfate, or whatever it is. Don't do that. Look at the supplement as a whole. Look at the whole nutritional panel. Look at the ingredients that are in there that are designed to work synergistically to promote muscular endurance, or to promote muscle pump, or to promote elevated mental focus. Look at the whole picture and consider how those ingredients are going to work together, and consider if clinical dosing of every single ingredient is actually beneficial or even necessary, because a lot of the time the synergism between ingredients outweighs clinical dosing or efficacious dosing of every single ingredient in a particular supplement. It's just something to consider. And I guess the kind of take-home message when you're looking at this information, watching this video, and you're looking at new supplements and considering what's in them and the dosages, is never judge a book by its cover. Never completely write a supplement off because you don't like the dose of a particular ingredient in it because it's underdosed. Because there could be a very good reason for that it's working synergistically with another ingredient or another 2 or 3 ingredients that also aren't clinically dosed but work together in those dosages quite well. So just something for you guys to consider. As always, this is why we do the hard yards for you. This is why we do previews and raw reviews and all the videos. So we'll actually use supplements and tell you what our thoughts are on them, those that are clinically dosed and those that aren't clinically dosed. But just something for you guys to remember. Don't always judge a book by its cover. Consider the whole picture when you're looking at supplements, and often synergism and the benefits of synergism between different ingredients is going to far outweigh clinically or efficaciously dosing each and every ingredient in a particular supplement. Guys, that's a wrap for today's episode of MJ Every Day. As always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn your post notifications on both on your mobile, your cell phone, and your desktop PC, so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the Massive Joes YouTube channel. Until tomorrow, I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.